Do you know you just said wake up? I actually think you parents here need to wake up. This is child grooming what's taking place. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Every single parent in here should be ashamed of yourself for wokeism. It's disgusting. This is child grooming what's going on. Child grooming. Who knows what autogynephilia is? Who knows what autogynephilia is? Who knows what paedophiles are? Excuse me, what?
Everyone here is an adult entity.
No, listen, you're a child, you're allowing child grooming going place. Don't even think about touching me.
Oh, Leanne, I was almost going to call you Lori. How could I miss? Oh, it's very easy. You're both very pretty. And you have green eyes.
Blue.
Are they? They're not blue. Now, don't tell me that. Look at me a little closer. They're green. I fooled you. I fooled you. Do you talk about getting married and having a family and things like that?
No.
You don't? What do you do when you're 11 years old for a date? Where do you go? What are some things you do?
We just walk home from school with each other.
Oh, you walk home from school with each other. Okay, what category? Do you hand out kisses, Jennifer? You look like a young lady who likes to give lots of hugs and kisses out, do you? Hey? Hey?
Not really.
Not really. Not really. Can I have a hug and a kiss? I can't have one?
Mm-mm.
Even if I say and whisper in your ear that, Allison, you're gonna win the show, I still can't have a hug and a kiss? Well, I guess you can't win the show then, if I don't get a hug and a kiss.
Dirty old man.
Yeah, you hear that?
Dirty old man.
Yeah, you hear that? That's a good answer. Oh, you missed.
Stephanie, which category for you?
No kisses. Are you shy?
Something.
Can I have a little kiss, please? Oh, that's me off the top of the show. See, so you'd get a whole bunch of right answers. And you give out kisses, though, don't you, Stephanie?
No.
Oh, you don't, too? How come?
Dirty old man.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Stephanie and Lorraine here in the big family kiss. I couldn't get that kiss earlier. Oh. Oh. The mothers are always so easy to kiss. It's the kids. Okay, dear. Oh.
This next story we're going to talk about, there's a lot of people talking, so pay attention to this. No doubt, what was revealed during the Jerry Sandusky case is horrifying, but a CNN.com commentary raises a thought-provoking question. Should pedophiles be extended some measure of sympathy? Are we doing enough to identify and help pedophiles before they victimize our children? Dr. James Cantor wrote that commentary. He is a psychologist and a senior scientist at the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto, and he joins us now. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
I want to ask you something, and I know people are going to probably send me a lot of hate mail for this. I've never been one to take glee in anyone's demise, and when I saw Jerry Sandusky walk out in handcuffs, I did kind of feel a bit sorry for him, even though I know the jury found him to do some horrific things. I was like, you know, his life is over. All of these young boys, it was terrible for them as well. There are no winners. In your piece, you say someone has no choice to be a pedophile, but someone can choose to not be a child molester. So explain that to us.
Well, we have to understand very specifically that pedophilia is separate from child molestation. Pedophilia refers to the actual, genuine, underlying sexual interest. For some reason, and we haven't worked out the details yet, there are some people born with a genuine sexual interest in children. They didn't ask for that. Nobody asks to be a pedophile. That just seems to be the case for these people. But that's very different from child molestation, which is a choice. They can't control what they're attracted to, but they can control what they do with those attractions.
So someone was born that way and they can't help themselves, but that's not to make an excuse for their behavior.
Exactly. I mean, they're not responsible for what they're attracted to. They appear to be born with it. We know through a series of brain studies, both from my research group and from other teams, that they're born with slightly different brain anatomy. And the differences that they show are not the kinds of differences that emerge over a lifetime. Rather, they seem to be the kinds of differences where whatever the chain of events it is, that chain of events began before birth. It really had nothing to do with any choice that they made. What they do with those interests, however, is of course still completely under their control. Now, the cases that we see are, of course, the cases who have been unable to resist their sexual interests. And those are the cases that hit the news. And in some cases, they can have a string of victims over many years. But there also exist, Dan Savage once called them the gold star pedophiles. These are men who, they know that they're attracted to children and struggle every day trying not to express those feelings and not to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we really need to help.
Yeah. Does someone like Sandusky deserve sympathy? I mean, in your experience, are people who prey on children, are they misunderstood?
Well, I mean, the people who actually engage in those behaviors, I mean, they need to be dealt with really on the basis of what it is that they did. There's nothing in any research that says that somehow they're not responsible for their behavior. But the day before somebody becomes a child molester, they weren't a child molester. It was in that day when they felt like they had nowhere else to turn, nobody to talk to, nobody to unburden themselves, when they felt the most desperate. That's when they needed to, for example, go to a psychologist.
Yeah.
But the way that the rules are set up today, if they go to a psychologist, that psychologist has to report them.
Yeah.
So rather than having a society where people can go in and get the help they need, we have forced these people to be out on their own, unsupported, and then we damn them when there were no supports available to them ahead of time. I think society as a whole would be much better off if these people had an alternative, if they had someone or some way that they could turn to, some group, some institution, some helpline, in order to prevent them from going from just a pedophile to an actual child molester.
Well, it's very interesting stuff. I mean, how can you defend, and many people will say, how do you feel sorry for someone who rapes a child? And even there are people who do it to, quite frankly, babies. And I don't know if that person deserves sympathy, but...
Well, sure, but that's now holding somebody responsible for their behavior, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
But before they engage that behavior, they're not responsible for their sexual interests.
Yeah.
If we were able to identify these people, for example, very early on and help provide them with the tools to control their own behaviors and their own interests, then we could prevent them from becoming a child molester.
Yeah.
So much of society right now is built into revenge and being punitive. But we could probably do a lot more people a lot more good if we got in earlier and just helped them deal with their interests before they actually acted on them.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Cantor. Interesting stuff. We appreciate it.
Don't tell me what I want. Can I go with Jess alone? Very good. We met before. It's hard to forget those eyes. Oh, wait, no, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, so
You get
five?
right over here. There we go. You can put it away if you want. Is that what you said to my mom? It was wonderful. My mom loved it.
1 minute, Angel. Do you want to hold it? Here, lollipop. It's going to come in your
got
mouth.
us all?
Just look at the camera, and then we're
okay.
going to have lollipop. It's going to go in your mouth right after, like right after.
Keep going. You're going to stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have...
There you go.
Got it? Okay.
And if you want the back, you can spread out a little bit.
Welcome to the front row. Do you remember what I told you? No, not smile. No date till you're 30. Hey, Angel, how old are you? You're 12. What's your name? How are you? The problem is, you know, you guys, you got a hard time. You know what I mean? All right, sister. I like kids better than people.
Yeah.
Grandpa's one of the good guys.
That's nice of you to say.
No, I'm not saying. He knows it. Do you know what my dad used to say? Granddaughters have one important job.